Last poem we're looking at today. It hasn't come up for a while, and I think that there's probably a good chance that it might come up. Toulooper, tightrope walker. We don't know whether it's a girl or a boy speaking. Fanie Viljoen, the writer, is a man, but remember, do never assume that the poet is the speaker. And particularly in this case, probably not, because the poet is no longer a teenager, right? There's a tightrope walker, the Toulooper, balancing. Hy doen 'n truc, a circus act, a trick. And what do we call the spotlight? It's in the poem. What's a spotlight? Kollig, yes. Kollig is a spotlight. Kollig is a spotlight. There he is in the spotlight, above the verhoog, which is an audience, shuffling along. And the Toulooper, the tightrope walking, is a metaphor, or an analogy even. But use it in Afrikaans to say metaphor. For the feeling and the way that this young person, Tina in Afrikaans, keeps themselves aloof and above and away from the fighting and the argument amongst his or her parents in the house. And manages to just I'm going to rise above it, and I'm just going to creep out, almost like float above it, until I get to the gate, and off I go. It's dense with metaphor. Not only is the Toulooper itself metaphorical, they also use the metaphor of a storm and the metaphor of winds, which the winds are initially negative and then they're positive. And the metaphor, when you're talking about metaphor in English and in Afrikaans, or simile, or personification, you need to think of what is being described and what is being used. That's called the tenor. The vehicle is the thing that's being used to highlight something about that thing. Okay, so what is being described here is a fight or an argument that is having in this teenager's house. And the metaphor that's been used to describe it is a storm and winds. And what the metaphor does is it emphasizes how fast, violent, and unpredictable that fight can feel. Right? Once again, it's vrae vers and shows day on die chaotiese wêreld van die tiener. Okay? No capital letters, no punctuation. And I think what that shows is that it's just kind of like this feeling of, I'm trying to not to draw any attention to myself. Capital letters, full stops, exclamation marks, all your leestekens dra aandag aan. They demand attention. And this speaker is trying to go, don't notice me, I'm getting out of here, right? It's full of metaphor and it's full of a sound, alliteration, assonance. So I'll try and read it, paying attention to that in my voice. Toulooper. Die storms woed weer in ons huis vandag, maar vol durf klim ek op die tou, voetjie vir voetjie skuifel ek vorentoe verby die verwydwinde van, het jy alweer? Ek het mos gesê, wat het jy gedoen? Gekwelde oë kyk vir my van deur onder, ver verwyde vir my kollig balanseer truc. My touweb tussen mure en deur handvatsels, familiefoto's en almanakke, blitsende TV-beelde en internetkonneksies tot by die tuinhek. Ek is hoog bo die grond, weg van alles behalwe die wind, maar ek dink nie daaraan nie en ek hou my oog op die tou. Ek balanseer my lewe en voet vir voet skuif ek vorentoe deur die storm. Not even pausing, because the enjambment shows that if they lose concentration, they will topple to their death. And that is how precarious it feels to navigate and rise above this tempestuous relationship that's going on in the house. Storm-like. Okay, so let's have a look at it in English. The storms are raging in our house again today, weer, right? Weer means weather, and it also means again. But filled with courage, durf, I climb onto the rope. I climb onto the rope, foot by foot, shuffle forward. Look at that word, shuffle forward. Through the winds of resentment. Sometimes they show it in italics, the words of the parents. Have you done it again? But I've told you, what have you done? Worried eyes look from way below, far removed from my spotlight balancing act. My rope webs between walls and door handles, family photos and calendars, flashing TV images and internet connections right up to the garden gate. I'm high above the ground, away from everything except the wind, but I don't think about that. Keep my eye on the rope. I balance my life and foot by foot shuffle forward through the storm. So there is a sense of I'm balancing my life. It feels so dangerous that, like, literally I feel like I could die if I get involved in this, but it also means I manage to have a balance in my life so that I don't get absorbed and pulled down into this fight. When this is happening, I get out. It's not important where they're getting out to walk by themselves, to go to a sports match, to find a friend, to go for a run, whatever it is. There's balance. The life is not just about being at home with that, as well as the meaning of it feels very precarious. I better keep out of the way, not get caught in the crossfire. Okay. A tightrope walker. Iemand wat op 'n tou loop en balanseer. Hier in hierdie gedig is dit 'n tiener wat al die uitdagings van haar lewe balanseer, of hom of haar lewe. Uitdagings are challenges, balancing all the challenges in their life. The storm is figurative. It's not an actual storm. It's argumente of konflik tussen die ouers. It could also be druk, pressure that's put on the teenager. So it's ironies dat die storm woed weer in ons huis vandag. Die storm woed weer. Look at the word weer. It's not the first time. It's not the first time. Look at the alliteration of woed weer. In ons huis vandag. You expect storms to rage outside, don't you? Inside, you're supposed to come and be safe from the storm. But in this case, it's not safe inside, and that's ironic. Die storm is binne in die huis. Dis nie veilig in die huis nie. Die gevaar is in die huis. The w, dit klink soos die wind. Dis 'n blaasklank. W. Okay? So, dit beklemtoon die geluid van die wind wat waai. That alliteration of the W sound. Voetjie vir voetjie. Voetjie vir voetjie, that's how little children work. And look at the werkwoord, the skuifel. It's huiverig, careful, right? Later, notice that it starts off skuifel, voetjie vir voetjie, and then it becomes foot for foot. So in the beginning, it's just like tiny baby steps, and bigger, it's more confidence, it's safer, they're outside the house. So die spreek het meer selfvertroue aan die einde van die gedig. Verwyd, that's like critical wins. So there is a sense, the winds of resentment, right? It could be, we don't know, whether het jy alweer, ek het mos gesê wat het jy gedoen, is the parents accusing each other and arguing, or whether they are saying it to the teenager. Did you do it again? I already said, what did you do? So it could be the parents arguing with each other, or the parents having a go at the teenager, or both at different times. And it doesn't really matter, because the meaning of the poem is they're escaping the conflict inside the house. Sometimes this is written in skynskryf or cursief, want dit wys dis die ouers se woorde. Die ouers is hier aan die praat, aan die woord. In lines 5, 6 and 7, the parents are talking. Gekwelde oor, they worried. Bekommerde oor van ouers. Kyk vir my van deur onder. So it's almost like the parents are watching with concern. And maybe they're concerned about what they're shouting at the child about. Or maybe they're concerned because, oh dear, our fractious relationship is harming this, so we're worried about them. The point is hulle is bekommerd. If there's a word wat wys, wat 'n woord, twee opeenvolgende woorde dui aan dat die ouers bekommerd oor hulle kind is, it's gekwelde oor. Van ver verwyde van my kollig balanseer trek. So it feels like I'm in the spotlight. They are now looking at me and I'm balancing my way out. I mean, we know that feeling when like you're in kak, right? And you're being blamed and you're just like, spotlight's on me and I just want to get out. I mean, that's a feeling you have if a teacher shouts at you in front of the class, which they should never do. You feel like you're in the spotlight and you say and you do anything to just get the spotlight off you and get out of there, right? My toe web tussen mure en deur handvatsel. So that's an image of the rope that they're walking on goes through walls and door handles, but it also makes me think of like a web is like the safety net that they have under high wire acts in the circus. Okay? Walls, door handles, family photos, almanacca, because it's almost like I'm just going up above everything, all the physical things in the household. And it's interesting that it's a web, because on the one hand, it's a way for them to get out of the house, but also you can get caught in a web, can't you? Tot by die tuinhek, look at the T, tot by die tuinhek, towards the garden gate, until. All right? I have broken this into lines of 7. It's only in one verse, because it's showing, but the first one is, the first 7 lines are about the shit is hitting the fan inside the house again. And these are the words. And then it's like, here I go on my tightrope, just staying above past the doors, the windows, everything in the house until I get to the gate. And now, I'm at the gate, right? I'm now high above the ground. Not actually, but it feels like I am. Weg van alles behalve die wind. I'm away from everything except for the wind. Now the wind, again, the metaphorical wind. Maar ek dink nie daaraan nie. I don't think about it. I'm not thinking about it. I'm not, because when you are on a tightrope and you have wind, you can get blown over. But it's like I'm keeping my eye on this rope, which is my escape, and ek balanceer my lewe. That shows that die spreuke het perspectief. They're above things. They've got perspective. They've got perspective on their probleme. And notice they val nie van die tou af nie. There's no point where this character is going, I wobble. I'm afraid I could fall. So it's actually quite an empowering poem. It's kind of like, yes, this is danger, but there's no sense of like, oh my God, I could die, I could fall off this. It's like, I'm in the spotlight, it's a trick, but I can do it, and I can focus, and I can rise above this. Balanceer me in foot for foot. Now I can walk foot for foot. Skuif, not skyful. I'm moving, not shuffling. Ek vorentoe, forwards. Deur die storm, through the storm. The theme is die tiene oorleef, or survive, oorleef, haar moeilike, difficult omstandighede, difficult circumstances. Omdat sy 'n gesonde balans hou in haar lewe, of sy lewe. The teenager survives difficult circumstances by keeping a balance in their life. Okay, waarna verwys die storms in reël 1? What are the storms showing? What are they indicating? Yes.
Conflict in die huis.
Konflik in die huis, ja. Of die familielede of ouers wat beklei of argumenteer. That's perfect. Sê of die volgende stelling waar of onwaar is. Dit is die eerste keer dat hierdie storms in die huisgesin woed. No, okay, you say it's no, right, white. Again, can you give me one word to show me, Tristan, why you said no? It's in the first line. What word is saying that this is not the first time in line 1? Huh? Wat is daardie woord in Afrikaans? Yes, Sophie?
No, I said the answer.
Yes? What's the answer?
Weer.
Weer. Dis reg. Weer. Waarom is reëls 5 tot 7 kursief geskryf? They're usually written in cursive. En waarna verwys hierdie reëls? Although in this matric exam they didn't write that in cursive. Why are they written in cursive? Lines 5 to... Imagine that they're written in cursive. Dit wys dat die direkte woorde van die ouers is. Dis die ouers wat nou praat. Dis die direkte woorde van die spreker se ouers. Kies die korrekte antwoord. Ver verwyder van my kollig balanseer truc. Bevat 'n voorbeeld van vergelyking, alliterasie of metafoor. That is, it could be B or C, hey? They're giving B, but it could be, I think it could be a metaphor. And don't worry, if that comes up, having been an examiner for drama for the IEB, they will sit on a panel and they will go, there will be enough people who will go, hang on a minute, let's discuss this one, and then they will decide as a panel, we'll accept B or C, right? So you can go B, and if you kind of go, don't sit there agonizing, just go B, underline ver verwyder. Or C, metafoor, balanceer truc, right? But if you don't want, it's like, kan ook whatever wees, if if you want to. They will ask them the first answer you give. But don't panic if you see that, because if you spot that, the teachers will also have spotted that. Wat is die connotation? That means the meaning that you infer. What does it suggest, not directly mean? Van die woord kollig balanseer terug, soos dit in die reël gebruik word. Anybody know? Anybody got an answer? Yeah, 2 marks. So wait, let me just tell you to break down. 2 marks. They want you to know what the kollig, spotlight, suggests, and also balanseer terug will give you your other mark. So, talk to kollig, Suhail. Die spreker balanseer sy of haar probleme terwyl almal se oë op hom of haar is. So the kollig is almal kyk na die spreker. Balanseer terug is sy probeer sy probleme oorleef of balanseer. Wat is die touloper se bestemming terwyl hy of sy op die tou loop? Gee hulle enkele woord uit die gedig. Bestemming is destination. Destination. It's die tuinhek. Die bestemming is die tuinhek. If you see the word bestemming, tuinhek. Because, and dit symboliseer vryheid, freedom, ontsnapping, escape. Die plek waar hy of sy wegkom van die storms. Well done for focusing all the way to the end, and well done for investing some time in your future marks. It's gonna pay off. If you'd love us to keep creating free content that's relevant to your matric exams, not just Afrikaans gedigte, we do have other subjects and other topics coming up. Please like and subscribe and share this with all your friends. And don't forget to follow us on all our socials. The details are in the description below.